No official records connect these stories. No documents prove they happened. And yet, each account follows the same unsettling pattern. An ordinary person, a small wrong turn, and a discovery that was never supposed to be seen. What makes them disturbing isn't what was found, it's what happened after. 5 people who stumbled into something they weren't meant to find. 1. The maintenance door that led too far. Ethan worked nights as a janitor in a downtown office complex. 23 floors, identical hallways, nothing unusual. After 6 months, he knew every stairwell and maintenance door by memory. One night, while restocking supplies on the 14th floor, he noticed a door he had never seen before. It was gray and unmarked. No keypad, no alarm. He assumed it had always been there. Inside was a narrow corridor with unfinished concrete walls and flickering lights. It smelled like dust and cold air, not cleaning chemicals. The hallway sloped downward gently like a parking garage ramp. Ethan walked for nearly 3 minutes before realizing something was wrong. There were no pipes, no cables, no signs of construction, just doors. Dozens of identical gray doors lined both sides. He opened one. Inside was a furnished office with a desk, a chair, and a computer that was powered on. The screen showed a spreadsheet with his name at the top. It was not his employee record. It was a log, time stamps, locations, notes about his daily routines. Then he heard footsteps behind him. Ethan ran. The next night, the door was gone. The wall was solid concrete. His supervisor insisted that section of the building had never existed. Ethan quit 2 days later. He still swears that sometimes, when passing the building, he sees lights flicker on floors that were permanently closed. 2. The road that was not on the map. Maya was driving cross-country to save money. No flights, no hotels, just long highways and gas stations. Somewhere in the desert, her GPS rerouted her onto a narrow 2-lane road that was not on any physical map. No problem. Detours happen. The road stretched straight for miles and was unusually well maintained. Fresh asphalt, reflective signs with no text, mile markers counting down instead of up. At marker 12, her radio cut to static. At marker 7, she passed a rest stop that looked recently used. There was warm coffee in a discarded cup. A sink was still running, but the place was completely empty. At marker 1, the road ended abruptly. Not at an intersection. It simply stopped. Beyond it was flat desert with no tire tracks. When Maya turned around, the road behind her was gone. There was only sand. She panicked, drove straight across the desert, and eventually reached a highway hours later. That night, she searched for the road online. There was no record of it, no satellite image, no construction permits. But her car's odometer showed exactly 12 extra miles she could not explain. 3. The apartment with 1 extra room. When Lucas moved into his apartment, the layout felt off. The floor plan advertised 600 square feet, but the space felt slightly larger. He ignored it. 2 months later, while rearranging furniture, he noticed a faint outline in the wall behind a bookshelf. It looked like an old doorway that had been painted over. Curiosity won. Behind it was a small windowless room with a single chair facing the wall. There was no dust, no cobwebs. On the wall were names scratched into the paint, dozens of them. Some were crossed out. At the bottom was a date from 3 days earlier. Lucas took photos and sent them to his landlord. The reply came quickly. There is no extra room in your unit. When he returned home that night, the doorway was gone. The wall was smooth. The bookshelf sat exactly where it had been. but Lucas still hears footsteps at night. They stop just short of where the room used to be. 4. The file that should not exist. Nina worked data entry for a medical research firm. Her job was boring, repetitive, and safe. One afternoon, while processing archived folders, she opened a file mislabeled as corrupted. It was not corrupted. Inside were transcripts, interviews with people describing places that did not officially exist. Roads, buildings, entire towns that vanished. Each transcript ended the same way: subject exhibits, memory persistence, despite environmental erasure. The final file was not an interview. It was a report titled Containment Failure Phase 1. Attached was a list of names scheduled for monitoring. Her name was highlighted. The file deleted itself while she was reading it. IT told her it had never been on the server. 2 weeks later, Nina noticed unfamiliar cars parked near her apartment. They were always gone by morning. She quit her job and moved. The cars followed. 5. The place everyone remembered, except officially. In a small town, 5 former classmates independently posted online about the same thing: an abandoned factory they used to explore as kids. They described the same broken windows, the same graffiti, the same rusted gate. There was one problem: the factory did not exist. Town records showed the land had always been empty. Older residents insisted nothing had ever been built there. Satellite images showed grass going back decades. But dozens of people remembered it vividly. Even more disturbing, some remembered entering rooms they were warned never to open. Those people stopped commenting. The last post about the factory ended with a question: if a place disappears, does that mean we were never meant to leave it? None of these stories claim to be true, but they all leave behind the same uncomfortable thought. What if the world is not hiding secrets from us? What if it is quietly removing the evidence when we get too close? And if that is the case, how many things have you already forgotten without realizing it? Let me know what you think happened.